How you doing, guys? There's something as one of Jehovah's Witnesses that we've all dealt with and we've all seen at least on average 3 times a year. It was during the midweek meeting, used to be during the service meeting. I don't know where they put it now since they've changed it, where an elder would get up in between spots and make the announcement that so-and-so was no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Do you remember those nights? And what was the first thought that went through your head? What kind of immoral act did this person do to get disfellowshipped? There's kind of a hush of silence. Nobody really says anything. Maybe somebody you knew very well and you didn't see this coming, and maybe somebody you barely knew. But the same thoughts went through your head. This is something that Watchtower is notorious for, and that is the labeling thing. Even when somebody is reinstated after being DF'd, you never quite look at that person the same again because it's always in the back of your mind, what did this person do to begin with? But this is something that unfortunately Jehovah's Witnesses have drilled into their brain, that when somebody is disfellowshipped, they probably had mass orgies at their house. Maybe they had a problem with midget porn, something of that nature. It's a black and white type of thinking. They totally disregard the fact that this person may have turned in a disassociation letter, may have been disfellowshipped, we don't know. And they will not tell you that. So the labeling thing kind of sticks. You put this person in one group. As a matter of fact, Jehovah's Witnesses view everybody who leaves as a very immoral person, which is kind of ridiculous. Like I said, all of us out here, we're obviously out. We're all put in this one group. Yet, if you watch each and everybody's videos, okay, Mike and Kim, for example, several years ago, before they left, they started noticing the subliminal imagery in Watchtower's artwork. Okay, I became aware of their crime some years ago. Okay. Joe, the runaway slave, 4747, was an elder in the organization, and he knew the hypocrisy. Okay, Mike and Kim, much like myself, did not attend their judicial hearing and were disfellowshipped anyways. So they are viewed as immoral people. But speaking of Joe, who was an elder, knew the hypocrisy, obviously was disfellowshipped, much like myself, much like Mike and Kim, much like many of us. Some of us disassociated ourselves from the organization. Okay, but Jehovah's Witnesses view the XJW community as all immoral people. We're all drunkards, we're all partiers, we're all sexually immoral people. And this is just the image that Watchtower wants them to have. They put in place the shunning policy, but why is that? Okay, so they wouldn't talk to us. And why doesn't Watchtower want the current Jehovah's Witnesses talking to the former Jehovah's Witnesses? Because they don't want you to know what we know. Why do you think they control the information the way they do? Okay? Your behavior is controlled, your emotions are controlled, and your information is controlled. Okay, the truth would have nothing to hide. We know the truth about the truth. And many of you inside know the truth about the truth, but you can't say anything without a lasting result of losing your entire families and your friends. See, the shunning policy keeps everybody in line. But if you had the truth, you wouldn't have to threaten somebody to keep them in line. And what about the victims of sexual child abuse? Okay, Trisha Frangina, Candice Conti, Jose Lopez. These are people that you also are shunning, and they were the victims. Okay, yet the perpetrators you still welcome with open arms. The pedophiles were forgiven, and yet the victims were not. Jehovah's Witnesses, think about that, okay? Is the shunning policy really scriptural? Okay, You're shunning the victims. You know, I mean, shunning is wrong, first of all. We all remember what happened in Kego Harbor not too long ago. Okay, now, Watchtower is blood guilty. And Jehovah's Witnesses, if you continue to follow the lead of this organization and continue shunning, and there is a suicide, okay, that also makes you blood guilty. Okay, now, the Stewart family. Let's use that as an example. I did that on a video some months ago. Okay, the only support this woman had were Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, when Watchtower cuts that off, they have nobody. See, it's not a loving arrangement from Jehovah. It's a control mechanism for Watchtower. And many that do go back after being DF'd, don't go back to Jehovah. I mean, that's the first thing people say when somebody's reinstated. Oh, they've come back to Jehovah. No, they've gone back so their families would start talking to them again. They still know that the organization is a lie. My last few months, Double J, yes, Jeff, I'm talking about you, fought like hell to get me to go back to the organization, to get me back to the Kingdom Hall. It didn't matter that I knew that the organization was a big lie, but it was important for him, not me, that I be there and not say anything. It didn't matter what I knew as long as I kept it to myself. See, it was important for him and his ego that I be there. And you know something? Things do leak, Jeff. And I did hear some of your comments because, yes, there is a leak in your congregation. I hate to tell you, I always wondered if anybody in the congregation knew what I knew about this organization. And I had my answer several weeks ago. Yes, they do. Okay, Jeff, you do a lot of talking. And I found out why it was so important for me to be there. It had nothing to do with me, but it was all about you. But like I said, I'll cover that on my next video. But Jehovah's Witnesses, think about this. This is the view you have of former Jehovah's Witnesses. So, who are the XJW community? We're human beings, people. We're just as human as you are. Your leaders, the governing body, who are nothing more than front men for a corporation, have not only demonized the XJW community, people that realized that they were a lie, you've dehumanized us. You look at us like a subhuman species. Okay, did Jesus Christ ever do that when he was on earth? I think not. Look around you guys. Your organization is far from Christian. It's nothing Christ-like about it. As a matter of fact, if you watched Denise Hedberg's last video, excuse me for a second, guys, you'll find out how many times the name Jesus was actually mentioned during that entire broadcast. Okay, your organization has not only dehumanized everybody who leaves, but dehumanized most of the population of the planet. It's a very cold organization, guys, and you may want to rethink this, okay? It's black and white thinking, and it doesn't work in the real world. But Double J, I'm going to be covering you next week because I haven't forgotten your comments. As far as leaving the organization and becoming an immoral person, I just want to touch on one thing. I still remember your last comment to me. I left the organization for a piece of ass. And to be honest with you, Jeff, I've never met your mother. But why would I have to leave the organization for a piece of ass when I could just live my life like I always have? And to be honest with you, I'm obviously a lot older now than when I came into the organization. And between you and I was more active as a Jehovah's Witness than I am today. So you may want to rethink your theory, and I'm still wondering who this piece of ass was you were talking about. Anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to say on the subject, but I'd appreciate your comments below. And if you come across this video, hit the subscribe button. And I will talk to you later. I want to thank my subscribers, guys. You have a good day. I'll talk to you during the week.